My name is Miki Frost.
How you doing, Miki?
I'm doing well. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for coming today. And why are you here?
I got something to say.
You're on the right show. We're going to give you the platform. Tell us what you got to say.
The first thing I want to say is I want to talk about the fact of us as black people, why we do what we do to each other. Why is there so much hate between each other? Why are we downing, and why are we uplifting this this notion that we are crabs in a bucket? And today I want to talk about what do we need to do to get away from that term. What do we do to make sure that we can start to uplift each other and get away from pulling each other down? It's time now to start to, look each other in the face and tell each other, man, either you're going to be with us changing, you're going to be with this community being better, because if you're not, we're going to label you as a problem in this community. We're going to be here to make sure that we eliminate that problem if need be.
Let's back up a little bit. I want to know, who is Miki Frost?
Miki Frost, I come from St. Paul, Minnesota. Lived my life, grew up a little bit on the east side, moved to the Selby Midway area where I spent most of my younger years. When I turned about 14, I moved out to Highland Park. So I kind of had the best of both sides. I come from where it was, the drug era, when it was, the streets was filled with crack cocaine, but then my mother got me away from it, and I grew up on another side where, it was, those communities or those areas that had money, So I kind of, had a little bit of both inside of me growing up to get to where I am today. But who am I? I'm a regular individual. I'm a young man that ended up getting into trouble as a kid. I went to prison. I've been shot, I've been stabbed. I've sold drugs. I've done things that I'm not proud of. And now I am helping to fix what I messed up in my communities by, seeking change in some of the things that I know I had to change within myself and then also in the community.
Okay. With that being said, at what point did you decide to start becoming an activist? Was it an event that caused that to happen that made you decide that? Because initially you were destroying the community. We all were destroying the community, unbeknownst to us. But at a certain point, you woke up and decided you wanted to do something positive. When did that happen?
I'm not sure that I actually just woke up and felt that way. It's like, it was with me my whole life in a sense. Although I was out here and I was caught up doing some of the things that was wrong, at the same time I had consciousness at that time where I knew what I was doing was wrong, but at the same time it's like I was just caught up with peer pressure, and I was caught up with wanting to emulate what I seen on television or what I was hearing through the music, but even by doing some things I was doing, I still would regret it when I got alone. I still would say to myself, man, I probably shouldn't have did that, So I've always had this consciousness of, wanting to do better and be better. It's just that, I had got in a space where doing good as far as, the community and not having this, tough persona wasn't the end thing to do. So I kind of got caught up acting in a sense, trying to be something that, deep down in my heart I wasn't, and so I guess the day came when I told myself I wanted to stop acting. I wanted to start to love me for me. I wanted to be who I knew I could be. And I had my first son. When I had my first son, I was standing on the corner one day with about 5, 6 other dudes. We was all out there drinking and smoking and, doing what we do, shooting dice and all that. And as I was standing there, this car was coming down the street. And something made me lock eyes with this car. But when I looked at this car, it was a little boy in the back seat of that car. And as the car was riding down the street, me and that little boy just looked at each other. And, the car went past and he just looked at me and I looked at him, and, the car went on about his way. Well, when that car went on about his way, I stopped and I just wondered for a second. I said, I wonder what that little boy was thinking. And then I thought about my son that I just had. And I said, you know, that's going to be my son soon, riding past. And when he ride past and he look over here, what is he going to see? And when I turned my head and looked, I seen a bunch of drunk niggas, man, sitting there, man, smoking weed, man, and, you know, middle of the daytime, wasn't doing shit, you know, selling drugs and just, you know, wasn't really doing nothing. And I just said to myself at that moment, when my son look over here, I don't want him to see dad like that. And I guess that was the minute that I started saying to myself, man, I want to separate myself from some of these dudes that I call my friends, my partners. But in reality, man, they wasn't doing nothing but giving me a look that I didn't want.
Real talk, real talk. In your life, because I was at your center and I seen all the powerful black people on the walls. But in your life, who did you look toward? Was it Malcolm? Was it Martin Luther King? Who was it that sort of Stokely Carmichael? Who showed you? Who did you sort of wanted to emulate when as you made this journey into community organizations? Did you have any individual in your mind that you thought that you wanted to be?
My pops.
Your pops. Now,
you know, my dad, J.C. Frost, you know, and he didn't have a political background or, you know, wasn't part of, you know, a freedom fighting, you know, core, nothing. He just instilled in me, and when I sit back and think about it, it was to try to be the best man I could be. You know what I mean? That, you know, we are not enemies with each other. You know, my pops, you know, coming up was that type of smooth dude that got along with everybody. You know, just watching him, you know, was like, he had respect for women. He had respect for, you know, himself overall. And, you know, as I got older, you know, right around the age of about 13, my mom and dad separated. When they separated, he went his way, and that's when I kind of lost it, you know, and went down a different path that I knew Pops would have wanted me not to go down, but I did. But Pops always stayed there with me because, you know, he was the one that I always grew to want to make proud, you know, but it's like the streets took over. With him being gone, he was there to discipline me or to show me some ways that I needed to see, and I ended up losing that for a while, but, you know, he always stayed with me on up until the time of his death. He passed away, and I kind of vowed to him that I would try to do better and be better as his son.
You said you did some time. Did you do penitentiary time?
Yep, I went to penitentiary. I did a short little stay. I was there like 16 months, probation violation. I got caught with some crack back in the days, and ultimately put on probation, played the probation game for as long as I could, and ended up, you know, getting the best of me and sending me away for a little while. So I went to, executed my sentence, went to Faribault, Stillwater, made my little prison tour, I guess you could say. Went there, did my little time, and I got out December 31st, 1999, right before the new millennium. And I got out and literally told myself I ain't going back.
Yes, sir. And what steps did you take from not going back? It's easy to say, it's hard to do.
Yeah, so to me, it was like, when I got out, I just started trying to get myself into a better position, you know, financially, without making those mistakes that would send me back to jail, you know. So I started saying, you know, let me try to, you know, get back into school, you know, first of all, try to, you know, do some college stuff, get back in school, and then, you know, give me some jobs. And it was tough. I'm not going to lie. It was tough because that felony will haunt you for a long, long time, you know. So, you know, fighting that felony off with, you know, back then when I very first got out, it was doing, you know, trying to make some money. But the way I went about trying to make money then was like, you know, if I get caught, I ain't going nowhere too far because I ain't doing nothing for real, you know what I mean? So, you know, I dibbled and dabbled a little bit, you know, with some stuff that didn't, you know, some weed, you know what I mean? Some that I knew wasn't going to take me away for that long. But ultimately, I went and got me a job and, you know, started just trying to make it the right way.
Right. Now, you have a lot of community engagement. I've seen you a couple of times at the Jazz Fest. I've also, and that you are a pillar of this community. You know what I'm saying? As things start to happen around, they come and get you. when did that start to happen? When did you become that individual that the community looked toward to solving these situations, or did you interject yourself into that position? When did it start to happen?
I think once I built the first Truth Center in 2018, I think that was kind of like the turning point of the community starting to see that I wasn't the old Mickey that I once was, you know. So I think at that point, once I started mentoring the kids, I built the center, started getting, you know, more involved with, you know, doing my own thing with the kids and in the community, and not, you know, wanting to be a part of nothing else, not because I didn't like what nobody else was doing. It was more because, you know, I wanted to just go. And to me, everybody wasn't going as fast as I wanted to go. And it wasn't doing as much as I wanted to do. I wanted to feed. I wanted to mentor. I wanted to do so many things that, you know, a lot of organizations at that time, they just was kind of, they just had one lane or whatever, and they was in their lanes doing just that. And I believe in order to do this work, you might need to be in a whole bunch of different lanes, doing a whole bunch of different things to get the outcome you're seeking.
Now, explain to me the Truth Center. What's the mission statement? What is it attempting to do?
So the mentoring part. So the 8 to 18 stands for mentoring kids from the ages of 8 to 18. With, you know, I just say there's stuff that I had to learn the hard way, bumping my head. You know, so community awareness, conflict resolution, depression and suicide prevention. Yeah, those are the you know, political terms or technology, you know, whatever you want to say for those things. But I mean, it's the fighting, the gang banging, it's the, you know, the use of drugs or drug selling, you know, the stealing and stuff like that. Those are the real names of it. It's just, you know, got these political names of whatever. But I wanted to teach kids about those very things and how they're making mistakes in their lives by getting involved with those things. That was one piece of it. Then the next piece was the truth part of it, is going out and finding these individuals while working with different agencies or whoever, word of mouth, social media, and go find the individuals that's shooting and fighting and doing these things to each other and see if we can get them to come and sit down and work it out before it continued to escalate. And then the last piece was just the African American Museum piece of it. So Truth Center is set up for you to learn history as you walk through the door without no one saying a word to you. Just come in and walk around and you'll learn something by just the visual that's there at the Truth Center.
I felt that when I walked through it. One final question. If you had like a pinnacle moment of, you know, because a lot of times we sit back, we do stuff. Like we started this podcast and we can look at the moments that were pivotal. You know, if we weren't around, this wouldn't happen. Like if we weren't around, we wouldn't be able to interview you today. Mm-hmm. When you look at your center, what moment in the life of your center that you were proud to have the center around and it served its purpose in your mind? Like that moment, like you said, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
That moment for me came when, so in my center, there's a wall that has right now probably about 60, 70 kids on there. People in general, but mainly kids have been murdered by gun violence. So their pictures is up on that wall. So my moment came when a group of young kids came to take a tour of the center. And as they was touring, one of the little boys looked up at the wall and said, "That's my dad right there." Hmm. And when he looked up and he said, "That's my dad right there," he was a 10-year-old little boy. And I'll never forget it because it hit me, you know, with a feeling of, I could not imagine what that young boy felt because I grew up with a dad, you know. So at that moment, it was like the only thing I thought I could do is try to inspire him on how proud his dad would have been toward him right now if his dad was still there. So I told him that his dad was a great man. I tried to tell him how, you know, good his father was and try to, you know, I actually did know his father that was on that wall and try to just sit there and tell him some stories about, you know, make him smile or something about, you know, his pops. And you know, and, you know, we talked a little bit, and as he walked away and, you know, continued to move on with the rest of the kids throughout the center, that was a moment that just made me say, man, I can't go nowhere. This is what I got to do. This is what this is all about. And it's about, you know, helping that little boy and the rest of these kids, you know, learn that I don't need them on this wall. Because I tell all the kids, if y'all look at that wall right there, what do you notice? And some of them is like, what? And then I tell them, man, it's space. Space for more pictures. I don't want you to be the next picture I put up there. So that was probably the first moment that just made me realize that this is something that I got to take with me forever. I can't stop.
We'll be right back. We got the legendary Miki Frost in the house.
I got something to say.
Welcome back. This Ron B in the middle. This is another IGSTS production. I was watching the interview with my co-host SAF Mof earlier today, and he asked you a question. He said, "Who inspired you? Was it Malcolm X? Was it Martin Luther King?" And he said another name. I can't remember the other name, but who inspired you to say that this is where you're supposed to be, this is what you're supposed to be doing, da 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 da? You said your father. And it sparked something in me. I started writing down instantly when you said it. And see, I never knew my father. However, I had an uncle, my mom's brother, that been inspirational and instrumental in my life. And he always told me, he said, be the best example of the Bible that you could be, because you might be the only Bible that somebody else will ever see.
For sure.
And like when you said your father, like, and the reasons why you said your father, like it just reminded me of my uncle, and I started writing, and like, I understand what you're saying. I understand.
Yeah. What's the truth? And I tell people all the time, you know, if life is a book or a movie or a play or whatever you call your life to be, at the end of it, you only need one person to stand up and give you a standing ovation, and that's God. You know, everybody else can boo it, they can criticize it, they can say whatever they want to say about your movie or your book or whatever, but there's only one person that you really need to get, you know, that standing ovation from, and that's God, you know, or your higher power, I say, because, you know, I don't get into all that. I just know that there's something greater than me that has blessed me throughout my life and my family, and continues to. So whether that name is Allah, Buddha, God, whatever, I don't get into all that, because none of that matters to me. You know, what matters is that you believe that, you know, it's not, you know, it's somebody or something that is blessing you along your route.
Amen.
You know.
Amen.
I got something to say.
Welcome back. This is IGS. Yeah, it's SF Mo. I got my man, Miki Frost. We just did a narrative on him. Very interesting man. Really piqued my, since I met him, I came in contact with you like 2 years ago at the Jazz Fest. Walked up on you. You were running for mayor at the time.
Yep.
And we really wanted to interview you then. But I mean, I knew you were kind of busy and stuff. Then after that, what actually happened during that mayor election? You spoke on a little bit earlier about how you thought that the white folks were going to utilize your background, but the black folks was utilizing your background in order to bring you down. Now, was it specific individuals or individuals you knew? I mean, what was going on with that, man?
It was, first of all, it's not like I really paid much attention to it, because, you know, in life, when you're doing things and you're moving, that's going to be there. And so I heard that it was certain individuals, it was groups of people, it was, a lot of different people, but they were all my people.
Right. You know what I thought about when you was doing your speech today? I was thinking about Malcolm's speech, The Bullet or the Ballot. Have you ever heard that speech?
I have.
I was thinking about it because when Malcolm first came out, he said, I want to say thanks to everybody, and everybody who came out, also the enemies.
My enemies, yeah.
Out, he's like, you'll be a fool to think that we have this many people in the room and not have any enemies.
For sure.
But the conversation with the bullet and the ballot has always been our ability to utilize the vote to change our situation, economic, socially, everything. And this, for some reason, us as black folks, we have not galvanized or came together like the Hmongs have come together, Somalis have come together. I mean, I have my own opinions of why things are happen that way, but have you come to some understanding why we can't come together? I mean, we were together back in the days. I remember my great grandmother was around and we had that connectivity. But right now, it just seems like we're so disconnected as a people for no other reason than we want to be disconnected. I mean, have you ever thought about why we find ourselves when we walk in the room, we dislike each other?
You know, it's not just one reason why, but one of them is, the jealousy, the envy, the things that, we wish that we had or we wish that we could do and we can't. So the next brother that can and is doing it, we want to have a feeling towards that. And it's a slew of stuff, women have caused brothers to hate on each other, just because, this brother maybe can date a woman that you can't date, or haven't had the chance to date, then that's caused some envy and some jealousy and some stuff like that in between us, So it's not just one thing. It's like, we, in so many words, a lot of us do not want to, coincide and be as one because we have a problem with who's that one. And that's where we're having a lot of our issues because if right now, we'll take reparations, for example. If the white man decided to say we're going to give every black person $1 million, everybody's not going to be happy to have that million, especially when if I take your $1 million, I could have $2 million. There's people that's going to think like that. If they say we're going to give each one of y'all $1 million and some infrastructure and give y'all some businesses and all that, then there's going to be too many of us that's going to say, well, why you get to run the business and I can't?
Right.
Why do you get to be the president and I can't be? So we have to find a way to get past those issues, and to me, it has to just be when we become happy within ourselves, when you love yourself for real, it don't matter what nobody else got going on or what they doing because you love yourself. And when you love yourself, you're going to try to put yourself in the best situations. You're going to take yourself, whether it's physically or mentally, and you're going to take care of that. You're going to do that to the fullest because you love yourself, and a lot of us, to be honest, don't love ourselves.
That's true. That's true indeed. I think a lot of that not loving ourselves is we talked a lot about the Willie Lynch letter and how that itself, East against West, Crip against Bloods. Mm-hmm. I mean, we just find reasons to. If I was in a joint one time and I asked this brother, I was like, it's so many of us in a joint right now. There's no reason for us not to be able to run the joint. Well, we go and split ourselves into Bloods and Crips and Vice Lords and GDs and Christians and Muslims. So we split ourselves up instead of trying to come together under one umbrella, And I ask, I'm being serious. I'm asking this brother, like, why are we doing it? He's like, well, it's so many of us, so we can do it. It's like, we for some reason, somewhere along the lines, and I always go back to slavery being that ground that sort of separated us, because of the trial we were going through, the people who were in the house got better treatment than the people in the fields, the people that were lighter skinned, because, coming up light skinned was in, what I'm saying? If you're dark skinned, you was, what I'm saying? So there's all that stuff played up in our minds, and and for some reason, I never really looked at it as being anything other than being better. I didn't look at it as being separation, like I want to go put an S curl on my head because I want nice hair. I'm not gonna wear no dreads. You know what I'm saying? Things like that sit in our minds, and sometimes you gotta think back and say, like, when did that thought cross my mind to think like that? Because it's messed up thinking, because there's no such thing as good hair or no such thing as light skin being better or anything like that. But it seems to be programmed in us.
I don't believe that it's programmed in us. I believe that, a lot of us just, on purpose choose to be a certain type of way and do certain type of things. You know, we sit back and we talk about, you know, the Bloods or the Crips or, you know, different gang fashions or whatever. I mean, to be, you know, 55, 40, 35 some years old or whatever, and you still recognizing yourself as a gang member, man, then to me, that's not programmed. You know, because, you know, by the ages that a lot of us are, you know how to stop doing something that you're doing. You know right from wrong.
Yeah, foolishness.
You know, and so if you choose to say, you know what, I'm going to pick up a gun today and I'm going to go outside and I'm going to look for a brother that looks just like me, but he's wearing something different than me and I'm going to kill him, you know what I'm saying? Because of that, that's not programmed. That's something that you chose to get up and you go do. Just like that clarity of life hit some of us, whether it's that bullet that hit you and you almost die and you get up, how you ain't programmed in. When you get up from that hospital table and you say, you know what, man, I'm done with this gangbang stuff. What you mean? The program is stopped with that bullet? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, or, you know, you out and, you know, you a disrespectful dude. You talking crazy. You treat your woman any type of way and then all of a sudden you go to jail. And now it's baby, I'm changing, I'm doing it. So you mean the program and just automatically just stop that quick some type of way? You know, no, you chose to do that. So, you know, I don't really necessarily believe that we are programmed as deep as we lean on as far as us as a people. You know, us as a people, we want to blame any and everything except for ourselves for everything that we go on, that's going on. You know, if any and everything happens in our community, the first thing we want to do is blame, you know, the white man, you know what I'm saying? And we have taken the power away from God. God ain't even up top no more. It's the white man, then God, you know what I mean? Because if right now it starts snowing outside or it's June and it's a hurricane or it's something, the first thing we say is, oh man, that's the white man. He made it snow. He made it this. He made it that. You know what I mean? I'm telling y'all, he got a machine that can do that. You know, it's like, well, God don't got no credit to do nothing no more. You know, God can't even control the weather no more because we done took that out of his hands and we take so much out of God's hands. And so, you know, to me, programming is just, you know, another one of those things that we lean on to try to get away from saying that, man, I'm fucked up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I also listened to you today speak about, you know, females, males, the relationships that they have and how, you know, we need to be more family oriented. You know what I'm saying? We should be more unified in the family. And a lot of that today, when as I came out, because I came out about 4 years ago, I saw it as being, I mean, from males to females, these generations, they really don't have any censorship anymore. They just do whatever they want to do. I mean, and it's the level of just like what they would not do is just, it seems like they're doing more things that I would think that would be the unfathomable coming up now, and it's acceptable. That's what I'm getting to. Like the fact that females are or males are calling themselves bitches, females are calling themselves bitches, and I want to use that, but just that conversation, and males call themselves niggas, everybody's calling each other niggas. It's just like this degradation of conversation, and it's acceptable. You know, for me to correct you and be like, man, I'm not a nigga, I'm your brother, would be is like I'm saying something wrong. And it's like, but that's acceptable. It's how people talk. I'm like, every other word is nigga, you know? So when you make the point about, you know, the fact of the matter is we need to start cutting these niggas out of our community, it makes sense at the end of the day. And do you want to speak a little bit more on that? Because I thought that was a great point you was making.
Well, you know, so basically it was saying that, you know, in our culture right now, it's almost divided itself into two different people. We all black, but you have some people that carry themselves this type of way, and you have some people that carry themselves this type of way. So it's almost like, you know, we have black men and black women. These are the ones that carry themselves with dignity, carry themselves with honor, they carry themselves with grace and pride to be black. Then we have the niggas. The niggas are the one that don't have no problem with, you know, shaking their ass in front of any and everybody. The black woman, you know, degrading herself in a certain way. The black man don't have a problem with people being able to look at him and see him under any type of look, whether it's high and, you know, his pants any type of way, or and him, you know, displaying himself, you know, with no dignity at all. So we have two separate sides of our culture right now. So the point that I was trying to make, that when it comes to us, you know, gravitating to being as best as we can be spiritually, mentally, and everything, we have to get away from the niggas. We got to get away from this side over here. And the people that on this side over here are the ones that are causing this side not to be able to flourish the way that we need to flourish as people. Mm-hmm. And so what that is just saying is you know, we have to figure out a way to where we on this side can let this side know, either y'all need to start to love yourself, respect yourself more, not only for yourself, but for our culture over here, or y'all got to get out the way because y'all's part of this problem.
I'll tell you what happened in China. I don't know if you knew about how the English, they forced opium into China. Well, when I forget which I don't know if it was I forget which dictator took over. But when he took it over, he took all those addicts out and killed them all, got rid of them, because you can't have a society with that part. You know, you have to get rid of that. You have to cut that off. You have to cut that part of the body off in order for the body to be able to exist. What's up for Miki Frost? What can we expect from you in this new year? Still new. What's
Man, you know, brother, I don't even know. You know what I mean? I just I wake up every day and just thank God, first of all. And the thing I said, you know, my motto is another day, another chance. You know, because as long as I get blessed with another day, I got another chance to fix something maybe that I messed up, or to do something that I didn't do, you know. So with that being said, is I don't know where I'm headed, you know what I mean? I just know that I'm, you know, going with the flow of my higher power, and wherever that takes me, I'm gonna be there, you know. So, you know, I can't, you know, do I have political aspirations and stuff? Yes, I do. But at the same time, you know, do I want to continue to do what I do in the community for the community? Yes, I do. You know, if the day comes or whatever where, you know, God says to me, you know, I want you to go do this, and I feel it spiritually and in my heart, then I'm gonna go do that. So, you know, I don't have no, you know, ultimate plan of saying that I'm finna go do this and finna go do that, because, you know, to me, when you plan things, they don't ever seem to go the way you plan them, man.
That's right.
So let me just keep going and keep hoping God wake me up, because I know that if he wakes me up, he got the plan for me.
Yes,
sir.
And
I'm going to just follow that.
Appreciate you coming by, man.
Thank you so much.
So we want to have you back definitely again. Definitely want to stay in tune to all your events. Want to definitely be there. Want to support. A great man, just a powerful man, great pillar of the community. Definitely want him to come back. This is episode 45, IGSTS, Miki Frost in the house. Appreciate you, bro.
brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But hold up, I got something to say.